SLT Fibre and experience the power of fibre technology. Sri Lanka's only super fast internet connection. SLT Fibre. Call 1212 now.
Tonight, a pledge for clean political space. Anura Kumara Dissanayake named presidential candidate of JVP-led National People's Power.
විජයග්‍රාහී දේශපාලන මිනිසා අනුර දිසානායක නාමය.
A must-do. All presidential candidates should vow to implement death penalty and eliminate narcotics, President reminds. Full reports needed. Acting IGP calls for CID report on 6 high-profile cases. Tajuddin and Lasantha murders among them. In winning patterns, Sri Lanka defeat New Zealand in the highest ever successful chase and the venue tops the World Test Championship points table. All this and much more coming up on First at 9 this Sunday, the 18th of August 2019.
Nava Lifebuoy Cool Fresh සහ Lemon Fresh Menthol සහ Lemon සාරයෙන් දහඩිය ගඳ ඇති කරන සංගුණ විස බීජ වලින් ආරක්ෂා කර ඔබව fresh කරයි. විස බීජ off, fresh එක on.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
A very good evening to you and welcome to First at 9 on AdaDerana 24, Sri Lanka's news channel. I'm Katharina Chang. On to your top story tonight. Leader of JVP Anura Kumara Dissanayake was named the presidential candidate for the newly formed coalition dubbed National People's Power, led by the JVP, at its rally held at the Golface Green this evening. Addressing his supporters today, the new presidential hopeful pledged to create a clean and honest political space for the country. It is the first time in 20 years that the JVP nominated a presidential candidate.
The National People's Power, an alliance of political and civil organizations led by the Janata Vimukti Peramuna, organized its maiden rally at the Golface Green in Colombo today. Under the leadership of the JVP, 28 other political and civil organizations came together to nominate JVP leader Anura Kumara Dissanayake as their presidential candidate.
විජයග්‍රාහී දේශපාලන මිනිසා අනුර දිසානායක නාමය උණුසුම් සහෝදරත්වයෙන් ප්‍රකාශ කර සිටින වගයි.
මාව යෝජනා කරන ලද ජාතික ජන බලවේගයටත් ඒ කෙරෙහි විශ්වාසය තබන මේ රටේ පොදු මහජනයාටත් මා සහතික කොට ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා ඔබ මා කෙරෙහි තිබෙන විශ්වාසය බැඳීම අබමල් රොණකින්වත් හානියට බඳුන් වෙන්න ඉඩ නොදෙන බව සහතික කරනවා ඔබ ඉදිරියේදී. අදූෂිත දේශපාලනයත් රට ගොඩනැගීම සඳහා වංකුවමනාවත් වෙන වෘත්තීවේදීන් ඒ මෙහෙට දායකත්වය සැපිය හැකි පොදු ජනයා ඒකරාශී වූ මහජන බලවේගය තමයි ජාතික ජනතා බලවේගය ලෙස අද අපි මේ ගොඩනගමින් තිබෙන්නේ. මේ තමයි මේ රටට අලුත් මාවත පෙන්වුම් කරන බලවේගය. අපේ රටේ මේ දේශපාලනය ඉතාමත් කැත පිළිනුණු ගන්ධකසන පොරපිටියක් බවට පත් වී තිබෙනවා. මේ දූෂිත දේශපාලන පොරපිටිය වෙනුවට පිරිසිදු අවංක දේශපාලන පොරපිටියක් නිර්මාණය කරන බවට මේ රටේ ජනතාවට අපි සපත කර ප්‍රකාශ කර සිටිනවා. ඔබටත් අපටත් තිබෙන්නේ එකම අපේක්ෂාවක්. අපේ රාජ්‍ය ලෝකෙ ඉදිරියේ අභිමානවත් රාජ්‍යයක් බවට පත් කළ යුතුයි. සියලු ජන කොටස් වලට ආරාධනා කරනවා. මේ ව්‍යසනයේ රට මුදවා ගැනීම සඳහා ඔබ වෙනස් විය යුතුයි. ඔබ වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැත්නම් මේ රට වෙනස් වෙන්නේ නැත. අන්නේ වෙනස වෙනුවෙන් අපි වැඩ කරමු. ඒ වෙනුවෙන් අපි එකතු වෙමු. සහතික වශයෙන් ජයග්‍රහණය කරන සටනක් අපි නිර්මාණය කරමු.
This is the first time in 20 years that the JVP has nominated a presidential candidate. In 1999, Nandana Gunatilaka, who contested the presidential poll at the time, representing the JVP, came in third. The JVP supported then candidate of the UPFA Mahinda Rajapaksa during the presidential election of 2005 and later in 2010, former army commander then General Sarath Fonseca, who was the common candidate of the opposition. However, the party refrained from supporting any candidate during the last presidential election in 2015.
President Maithripala Sirisena today called all candidates contesting at the upcoming presidential election to pledge to eliminate narcotics, drug trafficking and implement the death penalty. President Sirisena made this open call addressing a gathering in Polonnaruwa today.
3 model villages under the Samata Sevana program of the National Housing Development Authority was vested with the public by President Maithripala Sirisena today. The model villages are located in Dimulagala and Sorivila, in Kotaralagama as well as Dimburagala in Dalukana.
අපේ බලාපොරොත්තුව 20යි 20ට මේ රට හොඳ තැනකට ගෙනියන්න පුළුවන් නායකත්වය. අපිට හිටියා හොඳ ජනාධිපතිවරයෙක්. මේ ජනාධිපතිවරයාට වැඩ කරන්න 80%ක්ම දුන්නේ නැහැ කකුලේ ගැද්ද පිටිසම තමයි අද සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මහත්තයාගේ ගමනටත් කකුලෙන් අදින්නේ. අපේම පක්ෂයේ විශාල මහා සංඛ්‍යාත ජනස්කායක් ඉන්නකොට සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස කියන එක ජප කරනකොට මන්ත්‍රේ වගේ අන්න ඇහුන්නේ වගේ හත් බලන් ඉන්නවා. අපි මොනවාරි එකක් කණ්ඩායම ඇතුලේ කියනකොට ජනතාවට ඕනේ අහවලයි කියලා අපිට මොකද්ද කියන්නේ? sit down. හොඳ නායකයෙක්ගේ ගති ලක්ෂණ තමයි ජනතාවට සේවාවක් කිරීම, ජනතා සේවකයෙක් බව අවබෝධ වීම. හැබැයි දැන් ඉන්න සමහරක් අය හිතන්නේ ජනතාව ඔවුන්ගේ සේවකයෙක් කියලා. මේ තත්ත්වය මේ රටේ වෙනස් කරන්න ඕනේ.
සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස කියලා කියන්නේ දේශපාලනේ දූෂිතෙක් නොවේ. හොරෙක් නෙවෙයි. ඒ සහතිකේ මට දෙන්න පුළුවන්. මම මේ රටේ ආණ්ඩු ගණනාවක ඉඳලා තියෙනවා മന്ത്രിවරු විදියට 2015 ජනවාරි මාසයේ 8 වෙනිදා මේ රටේ 62,50,000කට ආසන්න ජනතාවක් ඡන්දේ පාවිච්චි කරලා අද වගේ අපේක්ෂකව තෝරගන්න ගැටුම් තිබුණේ නැහැ. බොහොම කරදරයක් නැතුව එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ ප්‍රමුඛව අනික් සහෝදර පක්ෂ 49ක් ඒකමතිකව තීන්දුව කරලා එදා මාව අපේක්ෂකයා කළේ ජයග්‍රහණය ලබා ගත්තේ එදා තිබුණු පාලනය වෙනස් කිරීමේ අවශ්‍යතාවය නිසායි. ඉදිරි ජනාධිපති ඡන්දයට මොන අපේක්ෂකයා ඉදිරිපත් වුණත් ඒ හැම අපේක්ෂකයෙක්ම ප්‍රතිඥාවක් දෙන්න ඕනේ. මේ රටේ මත්කුඩු ජාවාරම් මත්ද්‍රව්‍ය විනාශ කරන්න තමන් පියවර ගන්නවයි කියන එක ජනතාවට ප්‍රතිඥාවක් දෙන්න ඕනේ පැහැදිලිවම. ඒ විතරක් නෙවෙයි හැම අපේක්ෂකයෙක්ම කියන්නට ඕනේ මරණීය දණ්ඩනය ක්‍රියාත්මක කරනවා මත්කුඩු ජාවාරම්කාරයින්ට විරුද්ධව කියලා.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe says that attempts are being made to isolate the country's Muslim community with the objective of gaining political mileage. Addressing an event in Kurunegala today, the Premier highlighted that all races and religions should unite as one and move forward as a nation.
සමහරු බලනවාද මුස්ලිම් ජාතිය ලංකාවෙන් කොන් කරන්න. තමන්ගේ දේශපාලන වාසිය හැටියට ඕනෑම ආගමක ඕනෑම කණ්ඩායමක වැරදි කරන මරණ අන්තවාදීන් ඉන්නවා. ඒක නවත්තන්න බෑ. ඒවා අපි නවත්තන්න පුළුවන් හඳුනාගෙන ඒ අය ඉවත් කළා. ඒ සමස්තයක් හැටියට මේවැ ජනතාව එදා සිංහල රජ කාලේ අපිව ආරක්ෂා කළා දුන්නා. ඔක්කොම එකට එකතු වෙලා දැන් ඒ වගේම ලාංකිකයන් හැටි ඉදිරියට යන්නේ.
Meanwhile, Minister of Housing and Construction Sajid Premadas insists that war heroes will be treated in a deserving manner once he comes to power. He expressed these views at an event to vest with the public the 253rd village of the Samata Sevana housing construction project in Arnamadu yesterday.
November මාසේ මේ රටේ ජනතාව නව යුගයක් නව ශ්‍රී ලංකාවක් හැරවුම් ලක්ෂයක් මේ රටේ නිර්මාණය කරලා සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාසට හයිය ලබා දෙනකොට මේ රටේ සෑම රණවිරු පවුලකටම සීමා මායිම් නොතකා සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස සැලකෙනවයි කියන එක මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරන්න කැමතියි. මේ එළවෙන්නේ සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාසගේ කාලයයි. සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාසගේ කාලය තුල මේ රට බේරගත්තු හැම රණවිරු පවුලකගේම කකුල් දෙක ළඟට ගිහිල්ලා මේ සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස සලකනවාමයි කියන එක මේ අවස්ථාවේ කියන්නට කැමතියි.
2 16-year-old students were assaulted by a man who was under the influence of alcohol in Adigama at Arnamaduwa last evening. This incident was captured on CCTV camera. The children alleged that the individual assaulted them when they refused to accept an inappropriate request. According to residents, the suspect was a close supporter of a politician. When AdaDerana inquired into the whereabouts of the individual, they said that he had fled the area on the day the incident occurred, and police teams have been dispatched to locate and apprehend them. Chief Prelate of the Kotte chapter of Siam Sect, Most Venerable Ithapane Dhammalanka says that the SLPP presidential hopeful Gotabaya Rajapaksa is the most suited individual to govern the country, as he had demonstrated his capabilities. Indeed, he made these comments at a religious ceremony organized to invoke blessings upon the former Defence Secretary.
Presidential candidate of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Gotabaya Rajapaksa visited the Sinigama Devala last evening to engage in religious observances. A welcome ceremony was organised in Ambalangoda for the SLPP candidate. Gotabaya Rajapaksa then visited the Kandi Vihara in Alutgama. The SLPP presidential candidate then arrived at the Kechimale Mosque, where he was warmly welcomed. The former Defence Secretary then paid homage to the Kalutara Bodhi. The SLPP presidential candidate visited Sri Dharma Vijayaloka Vihara in Pannipitiya this morning. There he had an audience with the chief prelate of the Kotte chapter of Siam Sect, Most Venerable Dr. Ithapane Dhammalanka Thera.
අනුන්ට මඩ ගසමින් කාරත් ජනතාවත් අනුතුරේ දමා දිගින් දිගට කටයුතු කරන යුගයක ජීවිතේ රට මුදාගත්තා සේ මේ දේශපාලන මඩගෝරුන් ගොඩීමටත් හැම උත්සාහයක්ම දරන්නට ඕන. ඒ සඳහා කතාවෙන් නොව ක්‍රියාවෙන් තම හැකියාව ප්‍රදර්ශනය කර මෙරට ජනතාවගේ ප්‍රසාදය සහ ගෞරවය දිනාගෙන සිටින ගෝඨාභය රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමා මෙරට නායකත්වයට ඉතාමත් සුදුසු බව අවධාරණයෙන් මා ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා.
The former Defence Secretary also met with the co-chairman of the Sri Lanka Amarapura Ramanya Samagri Mahasangha Sabha, Agamaha Pandita Most Venerable Kotugada Dhammawasa Thera.
And with that, we cross over to a short commercial break. Make sure you stay tuned for more local news. Water tanks were donated by the Postgraduate Institute of Management recently to assist the National Tree Planting Campaign Thuruliya Venuwen Api, a campaign of AdaDerana and Sri Lanka Army. You too can be part of this initiative by sending in your donations to www.derana.lk/save-Vilpattu, which will see tree planting projects being carried out at the Vilpattu National Park. Market analysts forecast low investor activity at the equity market to continue over the course of next week as earnings are expected to improve in the December quarter. At the end of trading on Friday, the all-share price index and the S&P SL 20 lost 0.82% and 1.68% respectively, while recording an average daily turnover of 1.4 billion rupees. We have Hiruni Pereira from First Capital Holdings with market expectations.
With heavy decline in earnings witnessed across the board, we expect the slowness in the equity market to continue for a further short period. Further, investors are expected to realize profits, while foreign selling are expected to trigger in the market. However, selected mid-cap shares and banking counters are likely to attract investor interest as earnings are expected to improve towards the December quarter.
Sri Lanka launched a Ramayana tourism circuit which will link all temples and caves in the country associated with the Hindu epic in a bid to attract more tourists from India. The initiative was unveiled by Sri Lanka Tourism Minister John Amaratunga recently at the Sri Lanka Tourism Roadshow held in Kochi, India. Minister Amaratunga said tourists from India visiting Sri Lanka will be provided with free visas and a 50% discount on hotel packages with effect from the 1st of this month. According to Indian media, ferry service from Rameshwaram in Tamil Nadu to Talaimana in northern Sri Lanka has been given a green light by the Tamil Nadu government. The ferry service is expected to be launched by the end of this year after the Indian government finalizes procedures. Manavari Temple, Ravan Cave, Ashok Vatika, Sita Amman Temple, Divrampola, Ussangoda, Tirukoneshwaram Temple and Kadiragam are part of the Ramayana circuit in Sri Lanka. Economic research consultancy based in London's capital Economics says 5 big economies are at a risk of recession. Just last month, the International Monetary Fund cut its forecast for global growth this year to 3.2%, the weakest rate on expansion since 2009. It also downgraded its expectation for 2020 to 3.5%. According to Capital Economics, a London-based economic research group, the British economy shrunk in the second quarter while growth flatlined in Italy. Meanwhile, Germany's economy, the world's fourth largest, contracted in the 3 months to June. Mexico, however, just dodged a recession, usually defined as 2 consecutive quarters of contraction, and its economy is expected to remain weak this year. Data also suggested that Brazil slipped into recession in the second quarter. Germany, Britain, Italy, Brazil and Mexico each rank among the world's largest 20 economies. Furthermore, Singapore and Hong Kong, which are smaller but still serve as vital hubs for finance and trade, are also suffering. While growth has been dragged lower in each country by a specific cocktail of factors, a global manufacturing slump and a sharp drop in business confidence have made matters worse. China's massive economy is growing at the slowest pace in nearly 3 decades as the country wages a prolonged trade war with the United States, which will impose new taxes on Chinese exports in September and December. The research group further noted that the US bond market is flashing warning signs, with more than a third of asset managers surveyed by Bank of America expect a global recession in the next 12 months. Acting Inspector General of Police C.D. Vikramaratne has directed the Criminal Investigation Department to submit a full report on 6 high-profile cases, including that of the murders of former Sri Lankan rugby player Wasim Tajuddin and veteran journalist Lasantha Wickrematunge. The report is expected before the 23rd of this month. The development comes after the Attorney General recently urged the acting IGP in an official letter that investigation files released to the cases should be handed over.
Last week's official letter by Attorney General Dappula Dilivera to the acting IGP C.D. Vikramaratne to expedite investigations related to several high-profile cases prompted today's instruction by the acting IGP to the CID. The Attorney General directed the acting IGP to expedite cases included the assassinations of veteran journalist Lasantha Wickrematunge in 2009, rugby player Wasim Tajuddin in 2012, killings of 17 aid workers in Muttur in 2006, abduction and assault of journalist Keith Noya in 2008, and abduction and murder of 11 youths during 2008 and 2009. In his letter, the Attorney General also informed the acting IGP to hand over files related to the concluded investigations promptly so that the AG's department can move forward with filing necessary cases. As a result, the acting IGP instructed the Criminal Investigations Department to also expedite investigations related to the abduction of journalist Prageet Eknaligoda, along with the 5 high-profile cases suggested by the Attorney General. As per instructions of the acting IGP, the CID will compile separate files under 11 categories.
ඒ අනුව විමර්ශන ආරම්භ කිරීම සඳහා උපදෙස් ලැබුණු දිනය, විමර්ශනය ආරම්භ කළ දිනය, විමර්ශනයේ වර්තමාන තත්ත්වය, විමර්ශනයේදී අනාවරණය කරගන්නා ලද තොරතුරු, සැකකරුවන් අත්අඩංගුවට ගන්නා ලද සැකකරුවන් හා දේපල පිළිබඳ විස්තර, අධිකරණයට වාර්තා කළ දිනය, අධිකරණය සහ නඩු අංකය, විමර්ශන සම්බන්ධව අධිකරණය විසින් ලබා දී ඇති නියෝග හා ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් ගෙන ඇති ක්‍රියාමාර්ගවල වර්තමාන තත්ත්වය. සිද්ධියට අදාළ සියලුම සැකකරුවන් අනාවරණය කරගෙන තිබේද, එම සියලුම සැකකරුවන් අත්අඩංගුවට ගෙන තිබේද යන්න අදාළ සැකකරුවන්ට එරෙහිව නඩු පැවරීම සඳහා ප්‍රමාණවත් සාක්ෂි අනාවරණය කරගෙන ඇද්ද යන්න සහ තවදුරටත් අනාවරණය කරගත යුතු සාක්ෂි ඇතනම් ඒවා මොනවාද යන්න විමර්ශන කටයුතු සම්බන්ධව නීතිපති වෙත ගොනු යවා උපදෙස් ලබාගෙන ඇද්ද යන්න, එසේ ඇතනම් එම උපදෙස් අනුව කටයුතු කර ඇද්ද සහ තවදුරටත් කටයුතු කිරීමට ඇතනම් ඒ සම්බන්ධ සංක්ෂිප්ත විස්තරයක් සහ නීතිපති විසින් උපදෙස් ලබා දී නැත්නම් ඒ සම්බන්ධයෙන් ගෙන ඇති ක්‍රියාමාර්ග පිළිබඳව විමර්ශන මේ දක්වා අවසන් කිරීමට හැකි වී නැත්නම් ඊට හේතු සහ අංක 11 විමර්ශන අවසන් කිරීමට බලාපොරොත්තු වන සාධාරණ කාල සීමාව.
We will now cross into a short commercial break. During his first trip as British Prime Minister next week, Boris Johnson is expected to urge the leaders of European Union that there needs to be a new Brexit deal. Johnson will insist that the United Kingdom will leave the EU on 31st of October with or without a deal. British Prime Minister's office, however, said that there will be very little discussion on Brexit during the meetings in France and Germany. Meanwhile, the Sunday Times has printed leaked government documents warning of food, medicine and fuel shortages in a no-deal scenario. It says a cross-government paper on preparations for a no-deal Brexit, codenamed Operation Yellowhammer, reveals that UK could also face months of disruption at its ports. According to the document, plans to avoid a hard border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland are unlikely to prove sustainable. The British government responded by saying that the document was not what it expected to happen, but was an outline of scenarios being looked at as part of its no-deal preparation. A suicide bomber killed 63 people and wounded 182 in an attack on a packed wedding reception in the Afghan capital Kabul. The explosion happened at around 10:40 p.m. local time in an area in west of city mostly populated by Shia Muslims. The Islamic State said it was behind the attack. Sunni Muslim militants, including the Taliban and the Islamic State group, have repeatedly targeted Shia Hazara minorities in Afghanistan and Pakistan. Last night's attack came as the Taliban and United States are trying to negotiate an agreement on the withdrawal of US forces in exchange for a Taliban commitment on security and peace talks with Afghanistan's US-backed government. Tens of thousands of protesters poured into one of Hong Kong's busiest shopping districts today, braving a downpour to join an anti-government rally in the 11th week of what have been often violent demonstrations in the Asian financial hub. Yesterday's march was peaceful, but demonstrators and police have clashed frequently over the past 10 weeks. The protests sparked by an extradition bill which has since been suspended by the Hong Kong government. China, which has built up security forces in nearby Shenzhen, has likened the protests to terrorist activity. The violence has intensified in the past few weeks, with police frequently firing tear gas and rubber bullets. The turmoil has plunged one of Asia's leading financial cities into crisis. Sri Lanka began the campaign for World Test Championship by winning the first test against New Zealand by 6 wickets and standing on the top spot of the point table with 60 runs. Skipper Dimuth Karunaratne scored 122 runs, navigating Sri Lanka to the highest successful chase ever by a team at the Galle International Stadium.
Chasing a victory target of 268, Sri Lanka began to play the final day of the first test against the Kiwis. Resuming the overnight tally of 133 for none, Sri Lankan skipper Dimuth Karunaratne together with Lahiru Thirimanne built up an opening stand of 161 runs, setting the tone for a successful chase. New Zealand got the breakthrough they needed when Thirimanne was trapped leg before wicket by William Somerville. Kusal Mendis soon followed as he was dismissed for 10 runs. Former captain Angelo Matthews then chipped in with an unbeaten 28 as Sri Lanka finished off the game before lunch.
I think the boys did really well. They were really prepared. If you take the last couple of months, they were really changing a lot. So I think they've done really good job. I was telling Thiri, we need a big partnership. If one can stay there and get a big one, it's easy for the others.
Having 260 on the board going into the last innings. We also probably thought that the wicket would deteriorate more than it did. It perhaps got slower. It wasn't sort of turning a huge amount out of the rough. But still, I think in a last innings chase, a lot of credit goes to the way Sri Lanka batted. Obviously a fantastic 100 by Dimuth. I thought the bowling was outstanding yesterday. Perhaps didn't have a lot go our way and a little bit of a shame to not get some early breakthroughs. There were a lot of good bits, but we just want to touch on some of those other parts and try and just play that slightly longer game. We do need to take some lessons from the way that they played as well. They were superb throughout the 5 days. It is important that we just move on from this match, but certainly learn from some parts that we need to be better at.
With the win, Sri Lanka tops the points table of the World Test Championship with 60 points.
And with that, we conclude this edition of First at 9. Thank you for joining us and have a pleasant evening.